Okay, so we're going to discuss what's new in version 19 of ACT, Pro and Premium. First thing is it's now 64-bit compatible. So this is great news for those clients who have the Office 64-bit product line. So your Word, your Outlook, Excel, things like that. ACT is now compatible with those 64-bit versions. Now this has nothing to do, people sometimes get confused, has nothing to do with the Windows being 64-bit. ACT has been and will continue to be compatible with 64-bit Windows. This is strictly relating to the Office product line. Okay, so in the past and currently it is not compatible with your 64-bit Office product line, but it will be moving forward. There's the modern new connections, which extend the power and reach of ACT Premium. So these are going to be things that you're going to hear about, such as ACT Companion, which is sort of a mobile link to your database, which allows you to see your activities and histories at a quick glance, and alerts and things like that. And then also things where it can connect ACT to your Outlook. And when I say Outlook, not just your desktop Outlook, but for those people who use Outlook strictly Outlook web access, you are now going to have the capability to create contacts and also attach emails from that Outlook web access in version 19 moving forward, where you do not have the ability currently. You have to have the desktop version of Outlook to be able to attach those contacts and or emails. For any of you that use the e-marketing, ACT e-marketing, the performance and the campaign management of this has been greatly improved to become more efficient with this. So the speed of the emails going out is quicker, and then also there's some sort of improvements to make sure that you, for example, it's going to prompt you, are you sure you want to send this out? We've had clients in the past that have sort of sent out the emails too quick, and there's no way to sort of say, nope, I don't undo that. Where now there's sort of an extra, are you sure, kind of pop-up box to make sure that you want to send out those emails before they get blasted out to thousands of people in your database. And then in addition to that, there's some customer-driven feature requests and enhancements that have been created based upon requests from us as ACT consultants and also clients and ACT users across the world. Some of these include additions to the web version, which allows an administrator to have more functionality within the web version, such as being able to scan for duplicates and then also merge those duplicates together. In the past and currently, you can only do that in the desktop version. So moving forward with v19, you're going to be able to do that in the web version as well. And then some enhancements with the layout designer. So currently in the web, you can do layout design, but it's very limited. You can basically add a field. It's tough to align the fields together and things like that. The new enhancements have improved that so that you can now do that alignment within there. Okay, so let's talk about the compatibility updates. So as I mentioned, now it's 64-bit compatible, and so it's going to be able to work with your Office products. So if you like to do your emails and attach those to ACT, and you have 64-bit Outlook, it's going to work now. If you do mail merges to Word, that's going to work now. If you do your exports to Excel, you pull up your contact list and or history list for reporting. If you didn't have if you had 64-bit version of Excel, it's not going to work. Now it's going to work for you. So this just sort of allows that you don't have to uninstall the versions and then reinstall the 32-bit version like you had to now. So you're going to be able to keep that 64-bit version of Microsoft Office 2016, 2013, and 2010 and enable it to work with your ACT version 19. So we have modern new connections. So we discussed this, we talked about ACT Companion mobile app. Okay, and this is going to be released somewhat shortly. Probably next month we'll be able to see this on the app stores. So be on the lookout for this. So you're going to be able to stay connected to your ACT Premium details. So and be aware too, most of the things we're talking about today are all premium subscription enhancements. Okay, so I think almost all the things actually that we're discussing are going to be strictly for the premium subscription. Okay, so you're going to get alerts for upcoming activities on your phone. Okay, so right now, like the ACT Premium Mobile if you utilize that, you're not going to get those kind of updates. You can see your calendar when you log in, but you're not going to get like an update like you would if you had an activity on your default calendar on your mobile device. So these alerts will be able to come down to you through the Act Companion. Easily captured notes during meetings. Now, this is sort of a misnomer here because it's not actually, there's no notes section in the companion. It's going to be related to the history. So when they say easily capture notes, it basically means the details of the meeting. So it's going to show up in your history. You can email or call the contacts right from this app. Okay, similar to how you do now with the Act Premium Mobile. You'll see their email address. You'll click on it. It'll open up a new email. Or if you click on their phone number, it's going to dial out their phone number as well. It's going to be able to do work in a social way. So for those of you Twitter people out there, you can use the instead of the hashtag, you're going to use the @ sign instead. So it's somewhat similar to that, how you can put @ and then the contact name or the company name, and it'll update your database accordingly. And then, once again, the best part is going to send those notifications to that home screen of your phone to keep you on task and on time. Okay, I believe there's settings you can do that it's going to send you maybe every 10 minutes or every 20 minutes to let you know about upcoming phone calls, upcoming meetings that you have to have with your contacts within the ACT database. Okay, now here we have some screenshots of what it will look like. And once again, it's not currently available on the app stores, but it should be available shortly after the beginning of the year. And you'll just be able to go to your your app store and do a search for Act Companion, find it, download it, and then link it to your database. So once again, you get to your contacts quickly. You're going to have the menu lines up at the top left, like many of the apps that you may have already. Check what's happening. It's going to show you some of the latest notes, some of the latest activities that are happening. Quickly create those. And then you can also see the most important ones first as you arrange them. In addition, we talked about the @ sign mentioning to query the people, so @John Smith, and then write a note that would text or post it socially. Okay? As you see there, the hashtag Anderson account. Okay, so now here's some questions about the Act Companion. Which versions of the iPhone and Android are supported? Okay, so as we see here, iOS versions 9X and up. So if you do have an older version of an iPhone, it's not going to work on there. So you want to make sure it's either 9X and 10 as of right now, and moving forward, the newer versions as they get released. And then with regards to the Android, we got the Lollipop, the Kit Kat, and the Marshmallow. Okay, and then work when you get it. I already mentioned this, the App Store, so Apple and Google Play. Which premium features are available? Once again, it's going to be the contacts, the activities, and the history items. And that's for right now. Moving forward, there'll probably be additional items added to that. But for right now, it's going to be those three sections of the ACT database. And then does it replace the premium mobile? Okay. So as I mentioned, it does not actually replace it. It's just sort of a different model of it. Okay. It's sort of a lighter model of it. So the Act Companion is designed to work almost like in tandem with it, not in place of. So it's going to allow you to have those notifications that come up where the Act Premium Mobile did not do that. Okay, it's going to allow you to make quick and easier updates without having to log into a website like you do with the Act Premium Mobile. Okay, but it's definitely not going to have as much information as Act Premium Mobile or as a handheld contact's going to have on your mobile device. Okay. So this is going to be more for people who just sort of need their updates, like a quick a notification of something coming on. But if you're looking for true data, you're going to want to either use the Premium Mobile, or if you want even more data, you're going to want to use Handheld Contact on the mobile devices. Another connection that you're going to have with version 19 is the ACT Premium Contact Link. Okay, so once again, this is going to allow you to expand the connectivity between ACT and Outlook, specifically for those people who do not have a desktop version of Outlook installed. So currently the way ACT works is you need to have Outlook installed on your computer, whether it be a laptop or desktop, and then you can link your ACT to your Outlook to integrate it, to attach emails and create contacts. This will allow you to work it to work with the web version of Outlook, so that it will be an app within there. Okay, so it allows you to create new contacts and also any existing contacts. It's going to allow you to view and interact with the details of your past activities or create and schedule new activities with those contacts based upon those emails. It's also going to allow you to attach the emails much like you do right now. And just, once again, doing this all from Outlook. So here's going to be a couple what it's going to look like once you have the link as part of your Exchange account. It's going to be, so basically you need to be an Exchange user or a 365 user of Office, and then you're going to be able to add this via your manage add-ons part of Outlook. So then when you're in an email, you're going to see a little Act Premium contact link in there, and then it's going to show you the contacts that are on the email, and then any of the recent interactions with those contacts. And there's many other connections that you can set up with the with ACT in version 19. So here's just sort of a quick overview of some of the more popular ones. We already discussed the Premium Contact Link, but there's Slack, there's Wufoo, QuickBooks, PayPal, Eventbrite, Google Contacts, SurveyMonkey. And so what do I mean by connect the two together? So for example, for those people who use Slack out there, it's a messaging system for inter-office people. If somebody puts a contact into Slack, you can create that contact from Slack into your ACT database. Okay, similar with the Google Contacts or the SurveyMonkey or Eventbrite can put the activity into your ACT database. So this connection between ACT and other products out there is going to allow you once again to be more efficient, so that there's not this double entry of data between the two things, and it just allows you to be more efficient as well. Okay, so if you don't have, let's say you don't have a web server, okay, and you don't have the ACT for web necessarily, you just have the ACT Premium, you can still use these web-based, these web API-based, connections, even if you're just a Windows user, because the connections like the ACT Companion, which we talked about, and the ACT Premium Contact Link are available to you with ACT Connect Link. So this ACT Connect Link works with Premium, even if you didn't have the ACT for web in version 19. Okay, so I think that was actually a question I saw come through. So from Murray, if you're listening, Murray, that's the answer to your question about is the ACT Companion mobile app for hosted only? No, it's not. Anybody who has Premium can use that. Okay, so e-marketing improvements. So now the e-marketing campaigns are going to be sent up to 5 times faster. So you may have had complaints that people aren't getting your emails fast enough, because maybe you schedule it for 9 o'clock in the morning and it doesn't go out till 10 or 11, and the people aren't getting them when you want them to get that particular email. Because when you're targeting people, you generally want to send it at a specific time so that they're reading the email at that particular time. So this is going to, number one, reduce the time it takes to send emails, but also ensure that those campaigns are as successful as you want them to be. So here's some other improvements. So we get instant feedback on your current service before sending campaigns. Okay, you're going to quickly and easily see the campaign history for any given contact. And then once again, I mentioned you're going to have a confirmation dialog box to make sure you're ready to send a particular email campaign. And so here's what some of that stuff's going to look like. Okay, so we have the enhanced send dialog box. So you're going to be able to see the live details about your contact limit. Before, you couldn't see how many were remaining in the month. It just told you your contact limit. Now you're going to be able to see how many remain in a particular month, how many contacts are in a particular campaign, and how many of those are new recipients of that within that campaign as well. When you do the campaign history, it's going to overwrite Okay, so these are some of the customer-driven enhancements that we mentioned earlier that have been provided through like feedback and requests from, once again, other ACT consultants and also ACT customers themselves. So some reports have been added to help you get the information you need. So a little bit of enhancement in the reports section of ACT. Better functionality within the ACT for Web. Sort of talked about a couple things earlier, such as the scan for duplicates, merging the duplicates, and also the layout designer. And then just benefiting from additional updates, a lot of these behind the scenes, such as for usability, not request necessarily, but just usability of ACT and speed and performance. Okay, so we'll show you a couple instances of that. So with regards to the reports, one of the new reports that they've added, for example, is to see the activities with rollover days. So this is going to show you your activity list and shows you how many days they've been rolled over. Okay, so a lot of times as a sales manager or support manager or activity manager of your company, you want to see how often or how many days a particular phone call has been rolled over by maybe a member of your sales staff. So maybe they just keep pushing things back and farther back. This report's now going to allow you to see that particular activity. Okay, whereas if you just looked at the calendar, you're seeing activities on their calendar, you don't know when they were rolled over or not, but this report will allow you to see that. In addition to that, there's the new REP2 file type. So when you install version 19, you're going to see these new custom reports. Okay. Now this does not overwrite your current reporting. Okay, so if you have any kind of custom reports or have modified the reports that come with ACT, you'll notice that those are .rep extension. So basically what this does, if there are reports that are the same, it basically is a duplicate of that report. Obviously, it's not going to create or customize the report like you had it, so you would have to make any modifications. Okay, for example, if you customize one of these reports in the REP extension in the current version of ACT, and you want that same customization to show up in the REP2, you'd have to add those customizations to the REP2 moving forward. This is where the web allows you to scan for duplicates, okay, and then also combine those duplicates into one contact. And then also with the layout designer in the web, gives you a couple more options than what you currently have in there. So you can change the color of it, the font size, the background color. As you see there, they made it yellow. Okay, it's going to give you additional toolbar options in the layout designer. Okay, and then here's some additional subscriber benefits. Okay, so when you go into the welcome page, there's going to be a features tour section that basically walks you through getting the most from this release and any of the expert technical support that's included in your subscription should you need any additional questions. Okay, so that's sort of like on that welcome homepage within the ACT, whether it be ACT for Web or ACT itself. And then, as we discussed, we have the ACT Companion link, or I'm sorry, ACT Companion mobile app and ACT Premium Contact link to add the integrations with the hundreds of other tools as well within ACT. So what's new since your particular version? Why should you upgrade to version 19? Okay, so, and this is going to show you, give a matrix of the different features that have been added since version 19. So as you see there, we have version 16, version 17, and those features version 18, and then version 19. Okay. And if anybody has any specific questions with regards to their particular version, feel free to email us after the training, and we can get to those specific questions with regards to your specific version as well. Okay, so that's the presentation for the Act v19. One thing I did want to show you is the scan for duplicates real quick here. Let me get into the web version here of Act. Okay, and so as I mentioned, this is the Act Premium Web. So under the Tools menu, you're going to have an option to scan for duplicates. It's going to use your default duplicate fields that you normally use, but when this comes up, you can change these to other fields if you wanted to. So if you had a custom field, maybe account number or customer number that was unique, you can use that instead. Or if you want to just use email address, you can use whatever you need to there. I'm just going to keep it on the defaults. And it's going to tell me, oh, duplicates have been found. Do I want to start combining them now? Yes, I do. So it pulls up my list of duplicates back here. So I have 2 John Smiths. And as you can see, one has an email address, one doesn't. One has an address, and the other doesn't. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next to combine these 2. Hold down my control button to select the 2 John Smith. And then I have to decide, okay, which one do I want to copy to? So the source is going to be the one that's going to be deleted. The target is going to be the one that's going to stay. So typically when you combine 2 ACT records together, you want to make the target the one that has the most data already so that you don't have to copy more data. So I'm just going to switch copy contact 2 to 1. So now the target has more of the data. I just need to get the email address over there. And that's going to happen on the next page. So I'm going to highlight that field, hit the copy button, and then scroll down to see if there's any other fields that are not populated, but they all are. So I should be good to go. I'm going to hit next. And anytime you're merging contacts together, you always want to include all these additional items: notes, histories, activities, opportunities, secondary contacts, and documents. And then more times than not, you're going to want to delete that other contact so that you don't have the duplicate still in the database. So you're going to leave it on yes. And then it just sort of prompts you, are you sure? Yes. And then finish. And then now there should be 1 John Smith. Let's just look up over here to refresh. And now there's only 1 John Smith instead of the 2 that were before. Okay. All right. So what I like to do is I'm going to just go through the questions here and answer them as much as we can before I turn over to James and his demo on the Act for Work. Okay. Okay. So somebody asked for a recording, and once again we are recording this, and we will be distributing the link once we have it posted. We'll be distributing the link to anybody who's registered for this webinar. So you should have that tomorrow, Thursday at the very latest. You should have a link to download the recording. Okay. Somebody asked, I forgot my admin password. How do I reset? What you'll need to do is email me after the session today, and we can assign a support tech to sort of blank it out to nothing and get that reset for you. Okay. Question about enhancements to the pro users. So once again, most of the pro users will get a lot of the speed benefits that are sort of behind the scenes. But as far as the actual the things we saw today, the sort of major benefits that we're seeing today, those are all going to be all for the subscription based users, which is premium. So if you're on an ACT premium subscription, these features are benefits for that. So that's how ACT sort of rewards the subscription users, is with these different benefits and features of ACT. Do we need the web version installed for the phone app to work? I think we answered this earlier. So that ACT Companion, as I mentioned, you just need to have ACT Premium for that to work. It does not have to be the ACT for Web. It just needs to be the ACT Premium. Another recording request. Okay, once again, we will send that out. Can you set up the phone for VoIP, VoIP phones? Yes, it can be set up for that. There's a couple of different applications out there that can do that. So Paul, the one who answered this, if you want to email me afterwards, I can get you that information for that. Can you attach a document in the email campaign? No, you can't, but you can provide a link to where that document's at. So if you need to provide a link to it, you can definitely do that. Okay. How does the ACT email campaign appear to spam mail checkers? So the ACT email campaign, they do a good job of sort of avoiding the spam checkers. We haven't really had many complaints from our clients that the emails get caught in spam. If it does, sometimes you just need to contact whoever you're controlling your spam to allow them to allow the Swift page servers to get through there in those rare cases. So, but it's very rare that it does get caught up in the spam checkers. Can you ask for contacts that have not been contacted in so many days? I'm guessing you're looking for, if you're looking to see if anybody hasn't been reached in so many days. So in ACT, you can use the last reach field as the query field. So right here, there's a last reach field. Now, it may not be right there on your specific layout. It could be on a different layout, but there is a last reach field by default in ACT. So you can look up that field and say, okay, let me see everybody who has been reached in the last 100 days. Now in this database, there's nobody that matches that criteria, but you can do, that's a way to look for contacts who either have been reached or have not been contacted within so many days. Okay, so just looking through some of these. Some of these are repeat questions. Okay, can you have a template database that all ACT databases can share? Not quite sure exactly what that question is for, but if you want to save the structure of your database, if you're creating a new database and you want to have a structure the same way, the same field structure, in ACT you go to File, Save Copy As, and then create an empty copy. And what that does is it basically creates a blank copy with one record in there, but it keeps the same field structure. So any custom fields you created will get created in that new database. Okay, and then the REP2 question was, can you change the REP extension to REP2? Actually, no. What you want to do, because when you install version 19, what it's going to do is it's going to load those REP2 reports for you, and then you'll be able to use those moving forward. Will you be able to share contact layouts? Contact layouts can always be shared with other users. Once you create a layout, it's going to be in this drop down here of the layouts, so you'll be able to see those, and any user, you can't really block a user from seeing a layout. Those are global and those are public, so you can't block that. Support for Office 365, yes, there is support once again. So Office 365 and Office 64-bit click to run are supported with this version. Question was asked, will you finally be able to use Outlook V cards that are sent to us and put into ACT? Yeah, that's actually in the current version, so I'm not sure what version you're currently on. This question was from Fred. If you're on an older version, that might not be available, but version 18 allows you to do this as well. Will it have telephone dialer support again? It still does have telephone dialer support, so basically your computer just needs to be TAPI compliant, so that you can send out or call from your computer. So if you can call from your Windows dialer, you're able to call through ACT. That's what ACT uses, is the Windows dialer. Unless you have You can also have an add-on system of some sort of tool to use VoIP, but as far as just a native dialer, it could do that. What changes, if any, to opportunities or groups? Not really many changes to opportunities or groups in version 19. Okay. Act versus handheld contact. So I'm going to leave that to Vic, who's going to be talking about the handheld contact in about probably about 20 to 30 minutes here, and he can sort of go over any of the act versus handheld contact questions that you may have. And for people who are asking about the emails that they should send a request, at the end of the whole session today, I'll post up on the screen our email addresses, and I'll keep that on the screen for a while so that people can see that, copy it down, and everything. Okay. A lot of these other ones are just repeat questions. Okay, so there's a question. When you create an activity with a client and you let X send the invitation, is there any provision for not allowing the details from going to the client? When you create the invitation, it pops up the email. So when that email pops up, you can always delete the details. It's not going to, there's no sort of template or pre-made template that you can say what goes in that email, but you can always delete those emails. I'm sorry, not the email, but delete the details from that email itself so that you don't have to, doesn't go out to your client, okay? All right, so we sort of run, we're at the end of our session here for the version 19. So I'm going to pass it over to James Young, and he's going to present the Act for products, our Act for product line for Keystroke. Once again, there's some questions that were unanswered, but we'll make sure I'll get to them individually after the fact. So James, I'm going to make you the presenter so that you can go ahead and show your screen.
Okay.
Okay, you should be the presenter now.
Okay, can you see my screen there?
Yep, we're all good here.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm just going to run through some of the products that we currently have that are set up for the different industries that we have that we support. We can do products that are very specific to any individual. If you have specific needs, we have custom programming that we can develop for you. But these ones in particular, we've had a large request from these industries, so we built specific ones specifically for mortgage brokers, the Act for Wealth for financial advisors. We have an Act for Outlook add-in component. For subscription services, so if you do a lot of subscription work with your clients and you want to be able to track those subscriptions, we have one specific to that. We have Act for HubSpot, which allows you to pull in landing pages if you have a HubSpot account. So once you get those set up, that'll actually pull the contact data from your website landing pages and create contacts directly in your Act database from your website. We also have the Act for Support. So if you do support work for clients, if you have say a tech services industry business, or like we have here, we have a support portion to our business, we use the Act for Support to track the business that we do with our clients. As well, we have the Act for Realty for the real estate agents. We have a few other products out here. We have additional plugins, free plugins that you can check out, and the other part that we have is the Notifier, which will allow you to send automated updates out to your clients. It'll produce renewal reports. It'll do birthday reports. Any type of date-driven field that you have in your database, you can actually start driving business and drip marketing out to your clients very efficiently and very easily. So what I'm going to show you today then is our Act for Wealth product. And a lot of the features that are in the Act for Wealth product are designed and used in the cross-reference to each of the products that we've developed. So when you're looking at the household here, we've actually used the household and company field in this database as the same portion for financial advisors. And we have an automated household greeting field, so when you're actually working on your client contact record, you're entering in the information, you can just enter in the type of information you need and it instantly creates a household greeting for the client. If you wanted to change the name on here, you wanted to edit this information, or you just wanted to know that John was the spouse and Sarah was your client, you want to take this information out, you can actually take that out and then lock this down. You don't have to keep the information, and now this update won't change if I want to add a different name into the last name field or things change with the spouse name. The other piece we've built is an address label container here. So if you've got the home address, a business address, and an address label, it allows you to find which one you want to use for your mailing, because you don't have to now grab your address 1, address 2, city. We build an address label for you. So to create a label, you simply do a drop down in here, you pick the home address, you can click in any field, and it pre-populates the information in this field for you. And you notice now that it's grabbed the spouse's first name for Sarah and John. If they have 2 different last names, we can put the last name in here and it'll retype the label out for you. You don't have to worry about the changes. And again, if you have Sarah is only your client, you want to record this information, you can change this information and then lock the label. So if I change this to any other piece, it won't make a difference. It's going to stay there. It's not going to update for us. But for example, if you want to send a mailing out to Sarah at her company, you just have to simply go back. I'm going to save this record, click the business, and it rewrites the label out as the business for you. So it puts the company name in, attention Sarah Long, and goes about creating a new label for you. What we've done down below is we've created the ability to add multiple addresses for one client. So you can see here now, it instantly just generated 2 address types for this client. But for example, they have a winter home that they want to go to for 6 months of the year. So you can enter the information in here. And record the information for this client. So now they've got a winter home created. So you click OK. So you've added a 3rd address in here. So when they leave for the winter and they're going down to Florida, you simply go to the drop down, you unlock the label, you grab the winter home, and it rewrites the label for them. So now you've got a mailing address for them during the time period that they're away. You just simply put a reminder in your database. You create an activity to switch this address back for the client. So when they return from their winter vacation, you want to set it back to their home or business, you simply grab the home or business address label and it resets it for you. So it's very easy to generate more addresses, or if they have multiple properties that they own or just different places that they want to move or go to and live, you've got the ability to do that. The other feature we've got built in here is that the elimination of stick notes in an office. We've created this whiteboard on every record here. So it's a simple whiteboard. It's a stick note. So you create a record in here. You just say call the client in May, and you can save this record. If you've actually acted on this information that's in your whiteboard, you can actually then instantly create a history. You can see it drops a history in below with the information for us. And in order to clear it out, you just simply hit clear, and then it's a blank slate for the next time somebody comes into this record. So it's a quick way of eliminating the stick notes in the office, forgetting information, or if you're in the middle of a phone call, you're interrupted. It allows you the opportunity to save some information without having to worry about where it's going to go. The other piece we've built in here for financial advisors is a services offered table. In the financial industry, they track a lot of the services that they offer their clients. They want to know how frequently they're going to be meeting with them, what kind of meetings they're going to have, financial planning. So we've created a services offered table that a financial advisor can use, and this can work for different industries. So if you have an industry where you have multiple touches with your clients and you want to record those types of touches, you can use this services offered table for your business as well. So for example, we have a KYC meeting here. So you go in and you enter the KYC meeting details. You pick and choose the client types in the drop-down as to who would receive this type of service. You then set the description for it. You set the frequency that you're going to occur. And then you can put a service price allocated to this. So if you want to charge the client $200 and it costs you nothing to generate, so you'd leave this service cost as 0, you can create all of these different types of services for the clients. So when we actually go to a contact record, we can go to this information and we can actually change the client type right here by simply grabbing the gold, and it'll generate the services offered on this side here. So if you go in here, it'll show us all the services offered that we provide our gold clients. But if this client has now changed their status, they're becoming an A client, we just simply have to switch back out. We grab the record here, we change it to an A client, and it rewrites this table here. So now you can offer the services that an A client is going to receive for their business that you're doing. If you have certain items like tax projection that you want to waive this fee for, we've got an option in here to actually go in and waive the fee. So once we do the waive fee, you can see that it's now zeroed out the dollars in here for us. And you can do that for any one of these services. So it gives you a running total of what you might have charged your clients versus what they've paid for it. I'm just going to flip this client back to a gold client for a second here. So when you've got the different services that you've offered in here and you want to give this client a little bit of extra service here, we've actually created a way to add additional items in through what we call the Service Matrix tab. So when you go into this record, you've got the list of the services that are inside of the Service Matrix that match the table over here. Now we're going to add one additional service in here. And this is something that we would train you on how to do and how to walk through these screens. But it's a simple way of point and click. So now I can go in and say, okay, I'm going to grab this monthly statement that we want to send to them. So we pre-populates the field. We put it in here. Now we've got the monthly statement in here, and we have the monthly statement in here. But because we've changed this standard record for the gold client, we're going to want to lock this client down so that nobody can come in here and inadvertently make a change for us. So when you lock it from automatic updates, you simply hit OK. And if I go out to the contact record screen and if somebody accidentally tries to change this record, it's going to block you. So it tells you that your client's been locked from automatic updates. You need to go change this in the Service Matrix offered, in the Services Offered tab. So it just protects you from losing the information that your client has that you're working with, and you don't want to have to go back and repeat this process at a later time. The other part you can work is right from this screen you can actually book the actual services against these clients. So the client activity, I don't know specifically when this birthday is, but for an example, we're going to say that their birthday is in February or April. So we're going to pick, or sorry, March here. So we're going to pick March. We're going to schedule the activity. And now once you go right onto the screen, you're going to see exactly when the client activity is going to occur here. So there's going to be a birthday call to this client. I'm just going to snooze these items for a second here. All right. So what we've done with all of these pieces that we've built into this, we've actually defined a menu item up top here so that once you layer this on top of your database, and this will go over top of any database, there's no export or import to move data from one database to another to make it work. We can just layer it right on top. So we've actually run this setup from right within ACT here to create the database for you. Once you've created a database, we've got 988 records. I don't want to have to go through and pick one or two or manually update all of the address labels for the business here. So I'm just going to grab a subset of contacts here, and we're going to actually update the household greeting and the address label for these clients. So if we look at this client here, I'm just going to pull up this record here. We don't have an address label for this client, but we know it's a business. So what we do is we run the Act for Wealth tools and update addresses and labels. So it's going to go out, we're going to select businesses for all of these clients. It's going to come up and tell us that we have 7 contacts to update and match, and then it runs through and now creates a mailing label for each of the contacts in the record, in the database. The other piece you can do is you can have a household greeting. So if we're going to look up the, say, the spouse first name, we have a subset of people in here that have spouses in there, so we're just going to grab again a subset just to show you how quickly this can work for us. Oh, I might have grabbed some that already are set, and I did too. So I'll just do that one more time here. And hopefully I haven't got them already set up in here. So we're going to grab and create a household greeting for them. So we notice the household greeting is blank here. So we just do the Act, again, the Act for Wealth, the tools, the update household greeting. Again, it matches the number of contacts we have, and it just runs through the process again and instantly creates a household greeting for every client. And this will do this for your entire database. And the same thing holds true for the client type. We have a utility that'll run through and update the service matrix for every client in your database, and it'll just update the services offered table based on how you've segmented your clients if you're as a financial advisor. We've created a preferences setup. Choose whether you're going to have the business address or your home address as the mailing label when you client's information in. You can actually change the Act icon up above here. So if you personalize your database to include your logo, we can actually just take out this information here. We apply it. It brings back the standard Act logo. But if you want to enter your own logo in here, you just find the file like a JPEG or a PNG file, and you can add it in here, and it resets it so it personalizes it for yourself. And you can go up to the web and also get an external URL, and then it'll bring it down to your computer to see to show on your screen. The other piece we've set is the ability to change the name at the top up here. So we've made this an Act for Wealth. So if I blank this out again and apply it, it goes back to the standard Act Premium, Act for Wealth demo database that you would see when you open up your database. And the same thing we've repurposed the house or the company section of the Act. So a lot of financial advisors want to use the ability to have households the same way you can build companies and have additional people dynamically allocated. So we've been able to rename this. So we can create a new name for this, add it in here and apply it, and it resets the name over here just so it looks a little more visually pleasing and people will understand when they're using the database that they have the client household versus a company there. But you still will use this for companies as well. You can call it companies and households. You can change anything you want in this section. The next piece is the layout checker. We've defined it so that generally when you open up a database, if you do not have a network connection to the server in your office or something's gone wrong that the database isn't opening properly, it's going to come up and warn you that you're not using the Act for Wealth layout. If you hit yes and it blinks at you, still stays in the default layout, or you go into the demo database, you know you do not have a connection to the actual server, so it gives you a little bit more information to start doing some troubleshooting. The last piece we have in here is the quick notes. So a lot of the things that you do over the course of a day is repetitive for a lot of businesses, and this can be used in any business. Again, we're just showcasing the Act for Wealth product here. But you can actually go in and you can actually create all of the different items that you need to do when a trade call comes in for a financial advisor. You can have a new insurance application that you need to follow all of these steps and get all of this information before you go to a client's home to do your meetings. So once you've created all of these quick notes, you can have as many as you want, and you can have as many lines in this section of the quick notes as possible. So as you're going along, you can just type and it just keeps adding new lines into your quick note for you. So to show you how this works, if you book a meeting with this client, you're going to grab a KYC meeting with the client, and if I look at the details page, it's completely blank, but now I can just simply grab my quick notes, go to my KYC meeting, hit select all, and insert the information that I need for the meeting. You can have hyperlinks to URLs, you can point to different forms within your database, but it just pre-fills the information. When you come back, you can have pre-meeting notes, post-meeting notes. So I'm just going to add a few more notes in here. I'm going to select all, and it just continues to add it down the line as you're doing the information for this client. And then you can save this record, and you've got a new meeting booked, and you go in and look at this record again. All of the details are pre-filled for you below. So coupled along with the Act for Wealth, all of the quick notes and pieces, we have a tool called the Notifier. And what the Notifier allows you to do is watch for any date-driven items that occur in your database. So if you have custom tables, you know with the smart tasks, you're very limited to the actual contact table record. So you can only look at the fields within a contact record using the smart tasks. So this allows you to actually look at custom tables now. So we use a lot of custom tables. You can see below we've got addresses, investments, insurance, different tables in here. So when you create a record, we have a drip that's going to go out, and it's going to look at the database every 30 days, 14 days, and 7 days prior to a insurance renewal for this client. So it's coming up saying your insurance plan is up for renewal. You go through the settings, and it tells it we're going to pick either a contact record, an opportunity, or a custom table. So we've chosen the custom table here, and we're using the life insurance table. So we're going to look in here, and you can see the different tables that we have built. You can look for all of the information throughout your database. So we're going to look for a status that's equal to active, and the renewal date is within the next 30 days. We're going to have this triggered 30 days before the renewal, 14 days before, 7 days before. And what it's going to do is it's going to send out an email to the clients, and you can CC yourself on it to ensure that this is functional and working. And then what I'll do is I'll show you I'm going to show you quickly how this works by just pulling up the email here. These were just sent to my email address about 10 minutes ago. So you can see that we've got birthday emails that go out, and it defines who, and just gives you, you can create a nice HTML email, add your pictures, add your website logo, anything you need in there. So we've got the birthday report that follows this. So all the birthdays that occur today, you can build this out to show you how many birthdays are there. So if you personally want to call them, you know, for milestone birthdays, they're 25, they're 50, 65, you can actually make the phone calls and define how this table is going to look when the report comes to you. The other piece we've looked at here is that report that I just showed you. It's going to go out and it's going to contact Shirley. It's going to send her an email saying that her life check policy number is due for renewal on the 27th of the month. We'd like to schedule a review meeting, and again, adding all the custom logos in there. And the nice part about this is it'll actually create a renewal report for you that will read the database and bring up all the renewals that I've said in the next 30 days. It's going to show me a list of all the people, their policy numbers, their coverage. And again, you can add phone numbers in here, you can add email addresses and different ways of drip marketing out to your contacts. So it's a nice way of being able to stay on top of all of the business that's running in your office. The other thing we built into the Act for Wealth product here is the ability to import data that they can get from financial carriers. So again, depending on your business and the customizations, we can build a similar process for other businesses that have the ability to import data for our tracking mechanisms for their clients. So under the Act for Wealth, we have the tools, and we have investments and insurance imports right now. So I'm going to show you quickly the investment report, how it gets imported. This takes an Excel spreadsheet that we get from the carrier that provides the insurance and investments for us. So we're just going to go and grab the investment report, and it's going to build up an import table for us and bring in all the fields that are in the Excel spreadsheet. And in the Excel spreadsheet, we've got all of the fields that are on this side, and all of the ACT fields that are sitting over here, we need to predefine because it's going into the investment table. These are all the fields that are in the table. So what we do is we build a map. So we've got an investment map, and this can be for any different insurance carrier. It could be Great West Life, it could be John Hancock, it could be Sun Life, it could be any of those carriers. But it allows you to match up the fields that are in the spreadsheet to the fields that are in your database, and you simply hit import. And what this does is it brings in all the data, and it starts matching up the names, it matches up the account numbers to the clients, and it starts building your database so that you can start tracking this. And what this does, it allows the notifier to go out and read those reports. So for this renewal report that we wanted to generate, it's going to go out there and it's going to read the insurance table again. So it's going to come into the custom table and it's going to look for any renewals within the next 30 days. And we're going to have this sent to us every Monday through Friday. And it's going to email this information to the title of the subject line, and this is the client or the person in the office that's going to receive it. And you can add multiple people on this so they get the email sent to them. Under the edit report columns, you can add in all the different contact information you want to see. So if you want to add in a phone number or anything else like this under the contact table, I just have to look for the phone, and there's the phone number. We can add that in, and we can move that up so it's actually in line with the company there and the contact. So very easy to generate these reports and build these reports and send them out. So now that the import's done, we can click OK here. And I'm going to go to the investment table. And it's imported over 400 records for us right now. So it's matched up all the names. It has the account numbers to go with it. And if it doesn't find a match in the database to a specific name that you're looking for, so you're going through here and you're going to find that some of the names just didn't match because I could have been entered into the database as Jamie Young versus James Young, however it was going to be set. So I'm logged in as demo on this database. So when you go into the demo ID or the person who did the import, and you go to the investments table, and it shows you the orphaned ones that it couldn't find a match for. So I can actually go into this record now, and I can realize, oh, I've looked up this account number with the carrier, and I know this belongs to Aaron Adams. So I bring Aaron over, and I take demo out, and I hit OK, and I hit OK, and that account disappears and goes over to Aaron Adams records. So if I look at Aaron right now, and I go to Aaron's investment table, the investment that I just moved over is in here. So we've got a good match for this now, so you can easily start looking for the data in the database. So that pretty much wraps up what we have to show for the Act for Wealth side. And again, a lot of these features are built into the tools that we provide and that we give. And then we can build this custom for any industry that is out there. So I think we have a couple questions here that I'm going to go through, so bear with me a second as I pull them up. All right, does Act for Realtors have the same address features and whiteboard as Act for Wealth? Is it available for Act for Pro? Yes, those are built into the Act for Realtors as well, and yes, it works on Act for Pro. The products we have work on Act Pro and Premium starting at version 16 through 18 into 19 now, and for the connection pieces, they will all work with Office 2010 to the Office 2016 currently. Okay, so the next question we have here is re-services offered. When you customize and add services for a client and then lock them, you said that they'd be locked out of any automatic updates. So would you have to know every client that you customized and locked? What if the automatic updates actually add additional services that the type of client? Is there a way we can pull out all the locked clients? Yes, all of the fields that you're looking at when you're going into the services offered table, under the service matrix. So all of the fields that are in here, you've got all of these headings or the columns in here to show who are locked for automatic updates. So if I want to see who all the clients are that are locked, I can just say true, and it shows me all of the locked clients. So if you need to run an update on these clients, you can go out there and you can look at who's been locked down and the additional services that you would need to look at. All right, and one more question. Oh, that's all for questions for now. So thank you for listening today. What we're going to do now is Michael is going to pass over the presentation over to Victor to do the handheld contact piece. And as Michael had said, if you have any questions that you haven't been able to ask or you think of after the fact, our email addresses will be up on the screen at the end of the presentation. So Michael, you can pass it over to Vic now.
All right, James, thanks. It was great, and hopefully it gave everybody a better understanding of Act for Wealth. And here comes Vic. Vic, I've made you the presenter, so you should be able to show your screen.
Excellent. Can you hear me?
And we can hear you, yes.
Wonderful. Okay, I will be demoing Handheld Contact for you. What I will do is I'll show you a little bit of basic functionality of Handheld Contact and then show you some new features we've just added. We've just done some changes to Handheld Contact and we're continually doing new development on it. So here is Handheld Contact. Handheld Contact is a separate application. So it sits on your device as any other application, but the benefits of Handheld Contact, the main thing, it's on and offline. So even when you're offline, you don't have access to the internet, you still have access to all your contacts, anything that you have in here. For each of the contacts, you can go in and you can choose which fields you synchronize. Excuse me. You can synchronize any of the standard fields and up to 50 custom fields as well. So for each contact, you can go through and customize what you want to see. And also, the other benefit of Handheld Contact is right from your home screen, you can call or email any of the clients. So you can email Chris Huffman here, and the email will not only be sent through your email client, but it'll also create a history for you right at ACT. The other thing we have is we're also connected to the addresses, so you can go, just click on the address, and then it asks you, do you want to use regular map? Do you want to use directions using current? I'll just say regular map, and then it takes you right to your mapping feature of your device. So it's very easy to use, very simple, and then it gives you driving directions like it normally would. So I'll just reopen up Handheld Contact here. Now the other thing that you can do is for each contact, I'll just open up Chris Huffman here, you can see what kind of activities you have scheduled with that client. You can also see any notes or history items. So the history items, you can see there was a test email done on December 12th, 11:30 a.m., so I've been playing around with it here. And so for each of the clients, you can see exactly what you have scheduled with them. You can call them, email, everything is recorded back in ACT for you. So right now, the couple of new features I want to show you, I'm going to go back to the home screen. And so a couple of the features we have, we added an favorites button right here. You know, in your iPhone and Androids, you have your favorite list. We've created that in Handheld Contact. So let's say here I want Serena, I will add her as a favorite. Then if I go back to my home screen, click on my favorites button, I just added Serena here. So this is a quick lookup. That way if you have 10, 20, 15 people you call all the time, you want them in your favorites, just add them and they're in there. You can also delete them from there, but we'll leave these in here for now. So that was a request we had from a number of our clients, and everything you see that I'm showing you has come from suggestions from our users. So the next new feature we've added is something called searches. One of the things we're always asked is there any way I can determine and drill down right on my phone? Before, we could always search by first, last, company name, and by any other field that you've chosen. But right now you can use this as a filter. So I'm just going to add a new filter here. So I'd add a new search. I will name it description. I'll do mortgage rates. I will name it, I will just name it New York. And then what I'll do is I will apply my filter. So here I can look up a field, and as you scroll on the bottom, I'm going to look for city. And then once I go to city, as you can see, I've synchronized my drop-down menus. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to find New York. So with Handheld Contact, you can also sync through all your drop-down menus. Oh, I guess I should pay attention to what I'm scrolling while I'm doing the demo here. Okay, we'll go with New York, and then I will save that. So right now you can see I have 7 contacts in New York. So right from here, I'm going to save that. And so now filter name has another name, pick another name. So we'll leave it at that. Now the other thing I can do is right from here, I can also create another search. I can keep filtering down. But the other thing I can do, and this is something that we had a lot of requests for, I can do an email blast right from here. So I'm going to do email drop in mortgage rates. And so I can do hello alert. So this is to, let's say I have a client list of prospects that I'm a mortgage broker, that anytime I have any mortgage rates, I get an email while I'm on the road, a notification that the mortgage rates have dropped. I quickly want to email that out to my clients, and I can do the quick search on my phone. I hit done, and then we send the email through. And so right now the email has been sent. So if I go back to any of these users, I'll go back to my contacts here, and I think a lot of them were from CH Tech. I'll go to Melissa, and I go to history. There, drop in mortgage rates. So not only does it send it to everyone, and it BCCs so that it's totally private, nobody will see who received that email address, but it will record it in every single person that you've emailed in their history. So that's something that we are very pleased with, and we've had a lot of requests for that over the years. So let me go back to our, I will cancel that, go back to our home screen. The other request we had, and we've always had people asking about, well, I'd like to scan credit cards. And there's a lot of credit card scanners out there. And so all we did was we built a piece where you can take a picture of a credit card with something like Card Cam. You can see I've got Card Cam on my iPhone here. So what I'm going to do is I've got a card sitting on my desk here. And let me grab a picture of that. And so we're doing this live, which is always a bit of a risk, but I think we can do it here. So you've seen I've added Grant Kuhn, sales representative from Almer. And so what I will do is I will go to my, back to my Handheld contact. And right from here, so I'm at a trade show, I'm visiting a client. Rather than retyping everything, I want to quickly scan it into my native address book. And you can see here we have Grant Kuhn. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to import Grant, import complete. And now when I go to my contacts, we see Grant Kuhn right there. And everything was imported. Now all of this will now automatically sync back to your ACT database. So that's the new features that we have. There's a couple of things I do want to show you on the calendar. Is right now what you can do on the calendar is you can filter this calendar just to see your own activities or the activities of your colleagues. So there's a bunch of stuff you can do in the settings side. But what I want to show you here, let's say I'm on the 13th, I've had my breakfast with Billy. So right from the contact here, I can clear that meeting. And what I can do is put in any of the details. And so right here I put in my details, and one thing a lot of people don't realize is that you can also use voice to text. Finish meeting with Billy, follow up with phone call. I hit save, and right from here I can also schedule my follow-up. Now I can schedule a follow-up for myself or for any of the other ACT users back at the office. And if they're using Handheld Contact, this will sync back to the main ACT database and out to their devices as well. So everything is totally seamless, and like I said, the main thing is you're both off and online. It happened to me, I was driving to Montreal about a year and a half ago. I forgot, I left in a hurry after work, I got to Montreal late, about 11 o'clock night. All of a sudden I realized I knew where the person lived, but they had said they'd be there till their office till late. And they said they were in a conference call, so they wouldn't be able to answer their phone. They were on a call with Australia. So luckily I had Handheld Contact with me, found them, found their business address, and I was at their location very shortly. So nice thing about with the follow-ups that you can go through and you can schedule follow-up for somebody who's on the road, and they will get that right away as well. So I'll just hit done here. And now this is a meeting I was clearing. I hit done, and I'm back at my calendar. As you can see, we have a stroke through the cleared meeting here. So the thing is, you can also set up in your settings, you can go through and you can choose what you see on your device. So let's go to the calendar here. And going through, you saw that I had cleared activity showing. I'm going to uncheck that, and now the cleared activities won't be showing. You can also go through, and if you only want to see your calendar, you can choose yourself as Chris, and now I only see my own calendar, or I can go back and I can choose everybody's as well. The other thing is when I'm in my calendar, I can add activities right from here, new ones, edit, or change anything that you want. So that's a basic overview of Handheld Contact. We do have these new features. We just literally released the iPhone, these features yesterday. We're doing more updates as we go along, and then we're also always adding features as we go. So some of the questions people ask, what's the difference between this and the other ACT mobile syncing products? There's a couple of them. One, ours you can import right into ACT safely because you control what you bring in from your main address book. So not only can you synchronize the new ones you put in, but you can also import any of the other contacts you have in your native address book. Number two, we can export from Handheld Contact into the native address book so your caller ID works. And on top of that, we also have the alarms working for you, both whether you're in Handheld Contact or out of Handheld Contact. We're the only ones who also, every time you call or email, it automatically creates a history for you in ACT. So it's full contact with your client when you're outside of the office. So for now, that is it for my presentation. There are some questions here. There's a question that, is it possible to limit the contacts that are imported based on custom fields? We have many sales based and they don't want all their contacts, just contacts, but they are in a single database for our organization. Yes, you can create a group for them in ACT, and we have, most of the companies we work with that have larger sales teams create Handheld Contact group for James, Handheld Contact group for Victor, and you can have you can create a dynamic group and then only sync that group to that person. So it'll capture anybody that they have anything scheduled with, as well as anybody who's in that dynamic group. So you can set it for each person, even though you have in our company we have our database is huge, but I only need about, with the clients I deal with, about 6,000 or 7,000 clients that I deal with. So I create a group and all those clients come over to me. So yes, that is definitely possible, Rod. Okay, is the ACT database stored locally on the mobile device? Yes, it is. It's actually on the device itself. So even when you're offline, you can do any of the updates you want. You can clear meetings, put in notes with your voice to text, schedule for others, and as soon as you're online again, you have access to the syncing, and it syncs everything automatically for you. And that's for Jim. So the next question is for Mark. Is there a way to specify a group when you use the iPhone app? At this point, there isn't, Mark, but we are starting another new platform in January 3rd is the official launch date of that programming, and we'll have an application that will be able to synchronize any group information, company information, as well as sales opportunities. So anything to do with tables we'll be able to synchronize, so that will include groups, so that when you're on the device you can specify and search by group as well. Yes, question by Murray. Can you select the colleagues that you want to display in your calendar, or is it a choice of everyone or no one? No, you can choose if you only want to sync one other person's contact or activities. You can choose in the setup in the console, which is on your ACT server. For each user, you can say, Murray, you'll get Mark's and Chris's, or you get everybody's. Some managers want everybody's. Other companies we have are divided in smaller teams, so there's a team of 2 people servicing one region, so they want to share their activities because they schedule meetings for each other. So yes, you can definitely display only the ones, sync only the ones you want, and then even when you display, you can choose a variety of them. The newest version is available on the BlackBerry as well, so that's an answer to Chris. So that's definitely a part of our program. HHC, maximum number of contacts. Currently, and this is from Joe, currently we have maximum of 15,000 contacts, but we are releasing, we're hoping before Christmas or right after, an option where you can choose to synchronize for another, I think it's an extra $20, you can choose to synchronize another 15,000 and up to a maximum of 45,000. But currently the base rate is 15,000 contacts. Can you sync text message replies? Excuse me. At this point, we can. We're adding a new build where you can. Right now, it records that you've sent a text message, and then we're giving you the option of whether you want to save those messages in there or not. We used to have it where it saved every single text message to history, and people said it's killing my history. I'm texting, 120 times a day. So we took it off where it actually saved the text message, but in the future you will be able to one, save the text messages, and we're hoping with part of our roadmap for the new build is that you'll also be able to grab incoming emails, and just like we can import the contacts now from your native address or native contact list into the Handheld contact, which then goes back to ACT, we plan on doing the same with text messaging and emails as well. So yes, that is part of our plan. And the question is, this actually goes into the next question from Pardeep. Why can't you not add history for incoming calls? Yes, as I just said a second ago, we definitely are including that in our major rebuild that we're starting in January. And then we have another BlackBerry question. Yes, we work on BlackBerry. It says another question about the platform, about compatibility. It says v19 must be with Windows 10 PC at the office. What about Server 2012? I think it's ACT local install. Yes, that does work as well. It says, can you add next question from Andy, can you add a contact from a recent inbound phone call? If you can save it to your native address book, we can import it. So as a call came in, you can click on it, save it to your native address book, and yes, you can then import it into Handheld Contact and sync it back to ACT. It says, what app did I use to scan the business card? I used something called Card Scan. It was free to start with, and then it cost me all of 99 cents to purchase the full version of it. So I'll just go back here so you can see it. It's called Cam Card, and it works fantastic. I have it both on my Android and on my iPhone as well. How do you use Siri to call a contact in HHC? At this point, Siri doesn't allow us to go right into Handheld Contact. The only way we can do it is when you export from Handheld Contact, you can export your contacts into the native address book, and once you have them synced into your native address book, then you can use Siri. We're hoping, again, it all depends on how much access we get to the background code from Apple. They're always giving us more, so we're hoping to make it totally seamless with Siri as well. It says, how long does syncing take? There's two parts to that question. One of the questions is on the console on your computer, and that all depends on how big your database is. So the initial sync is syncing all of your data that you've chosen to sync, so that takes longer, but that keeps syncing in the background as a service. On the device itself, I synchronize, like I said, around anywhere between 6,000 and 8,000 clients, and if I do a resend of all data, it takes about 15 minutes or so. A regular sync takes about 15-20 seconds, and all the changes are through, because remember, it syncs automatically every 15 minutes. Is there the way to sync the contacts in my iPhone with my car contact list? I think that's something you can email me about. That's outside of Handheld Contact, but we can respond to that as well soon. And the last one is, can I use my Ring Central with this? This is the same response question I answered before, that we can't use the Ring Central to call out of Handheld Contact yet, but that's definitely on the roadmap. Hopefully the goal for the release for all those products will be, additions will be end of June, end of second quarter. But if you export Handheld Contact into your native address book, then you can use your Ring Central like you normally do. So that's it that I see for questions here. So why don't I pass it back to you, Michael, if there's
Nick,
any
there's
more.
there's one more question for you.
Oh, I see.
You
okay.
see it on your end? Yeah.
I see it now. How do you import a single contact from the native device? Here, I can show you that quickly. So here I will go to my home, and if I go to my import, all of this is, I cleaned up my test here. All your native address, all your native contacts will be right in the import here. So you can choose, I just import a grant a second ago with my CAM card, but I can choose Matt. So you can go through and you can search your contacts and go through and highlight the ones you want to import, and then you can import them through. So it's very, very simple to do. All right, back to you, Michael.
Okay, great. Thanks, Vic. I'm going to, and thanks everybody for staying on this call. Couple things to clean up here. I'm going to post our email addresses and our list of Act4 products here, so you guys can see that. Let me just put that on the screen there. I think everybody should see that now. Okay. So those are our email addresses. So for any general ACT questions, email myself, Michael Cadleb, Michael K at kqc.ca. Anything specific to the Act for Work, or such as Act for Wealth, email James Young, James at actforwork.com. And anything specific to the Handheld, Vic Cron at vic@handheldcontact.com. And then below there is our list of Act 4 products, and you can easily get to those on our website at Keystroke. Oops, that's actually the wrong. I need to modify that. Keystroke.ca. There we go. /apps. Okay. And then below there is a list of the Act 4 products that we have available. And for attending today's today's roadshow, we are going to be giving away 5 Act 4 Outlooks. So be on the lookout in your emails the next couple of days. You may be the lucky winner of that. And once you get that, if you are a winner, please contact me and I'll work out the scheduling to get that installed on the computer you'd like to get Act 4 Outlook installed on. Okay. So that was it. Once again, thanks for attending. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask anybody. If you're not sure sort of what category the question falls in, then go ahead and send it to me, Michael Cadleb. Once again, Michael K at kqc.ca, and I'll either answer it myself or make sure it gets answered by the appropriate person. But everybody have a great day, and once again, thanks for attending. I'm going to keep the screen up here for a little while so you guys can copy whatever you need to.